going on, y'all? It's Nick, Tyler, Terrell here with the FutureDDS Podcast. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to 2023. Yes. We wanted to hit the ground running this year and give you guys some great perspective. Obviously, bring you guys some really good new content. We have a lot of things in store. We're cooking up a lot of things that we're excited to bring you this year. But again, like I said, this is one of the things we've been working on a lot. We actually put out a pilot podcast a couple of months ago. And we really just wanted to figure out a good way to bring you guys quality content and come up with some great fresh ideas that you guys would be interested in hearing and learning more about. So, like I said, man, it's the new year. So happy New Year, Nick. Happy New Year, Tyler, man. How's everything going with y'all?
Well, I'll go first. It's been going pretty well. Can't complain. It's been like the first 5 days of the year, and I feel like I've been really productive. And I have so many goals that I want to achieve that I set out for myself. So, just kind of excited to get started. And I'm in this little transition phase where I'm getting ready to go to dental school. And
hold on, there we go. Hold up, hey, let's go.
Yeah. So like now there's a lot of planning. There's gotta get ready to move, gotta find apartments, gotta there's always work to do, right? So it's just a matter of being productive. So yeah.
Absolutely. Man, I know you feel good, Nick. I remember when we all got in, it was just it's a great feeling, especially after you've been working for so long and working so hard, crushing the DAT, doing all that. So bro, congrats to you, man. That's major.
Sure. Yeah, bro, that was an awesome day. I remember that. We were in Florida. You already in, so I was like, okay, cool. I got that. So I think we were studying for like comp exam. We had finals that day, and I'm like, I literally saw the email pop up on the side of my laptop. I'm like, ran out of my room, like, yo, TV.
Like, I'm good.
We made it. Yeah.
But it's so crazy how I can literally remember seeing you come out of your room hype, and that was literally how many years ago? Almost 6 years ago now.
Almost 6 years ago now. Yeah, 6 years. 6 years.
Shit. 6. That's crazy. It's crazy how fast we've gone through dental school and we've been dentists for that's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah. Crazy.
Time flies. But
man. How's your New Year been though, Tyler?
It's been really good. I have transitioned from my old job. I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast, but transitioned from my old job and working 6 days a week to working 3 days a week. This is actually my first Thursday that I've been free. And I'm in amazing spirits. So pretty excited about that. But no, it's been great, and really just focused on getting better this year. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man. So speaking of getting better, one, congrats for making that transition. I know we talk about stuff offline a bunch of times, a lot, just kind of trajectory of careers and kind of interested in what the journey is going to bring us. But man, it's something to be said about making an intentional decision and kind of setting goals. And obviously the new year, everybody has New Year's resolutions, intentions. Sure. They say New Year, new me. I kind of wanted to hit on that topic of the inspiration behind creating New Year's resolutions versus setting goals, or creating systems, something that will actually make that be a lasting, I guess, decision or a lasting implementation of things that you want to change in the new year, things that you start thinking about towards the end of the year when that comes around. So I just kind of want to lead the conversation of the perspectives that you guys have about the viability of a New Year's resolution. Like, is that something that's that's viable in terms of creating motivation to continue to get better in a way? Do you think it's more so the system that you should try to put in place even before the new year that you just try to make normal in the new year? Like, what do you guys take on that? Or like, what have you guys seen have been successful in the past, or maybe what you're trying this year?
Yeah. So in short, I actually don't believe in New Year's resolutions. So, and the reason I think this is because you can start doing that New Year's resolution as soon as you think of it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, they'll have their New Year's resolutions 2 weeks before New Year's. I'm like, well, if it's really something that you want to do, then you would do it right then and there. So that's why I don't think they're ever sustainable. And I think people try to live in this fantasy world for as long as they can maintain it. But that usually lasts only the month of January if they're lucky, and then they just forget it, and it just becomes their New Year's resolution for next year. So I'm not for them. I don't usually make them myself. But I do like the idea of like long-term goals that you can set. Like maybe if you want to use the year as a checkpoint, you say like by next year I want to be here. I don't think that's such a bad idea because, that gives you time, that lets you have like the dips that may come, but like it's the overall trend that matters,
Yeah.
So that's my perspective, but I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah. No, I mean, we could sit here all day and give an entire summary of the book Atomic Habits, right? Whereas it's like, okay, make systems, don't make goals. You have to change self first before you actually will make tangible changes within your habits and things of this nature. But no, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, and I know Terrell knows this a little bit also, but we in dental school, man, I think that's something that you even will have to deal with, Nick. Is just like, I mean, hopefully not too much of a failure, right? Even, we go into dental school with such high expectations of everything. And when you do get that sucker punch to the gut, you might not do as well as you want on a test. You can easily kind of slip into this, just an episode, right, of being upset and being let down internally, right? And so after that happened to me a couple times, I really just kind of developed this whole thing where it was like, yo, every day is like a new me in a weird way. You see what I'm saying? Like, so every morning when I wake up, I am a new person. Like the Tyler you knew yesterday, different Tyler, So when it comes to these resolutions and things of that nature, like I'm never going to discourage somebody from setting New Year's resolutions. But kind of like you said, Nick, I'm just kind of like, yo, if you really want to change something, like, okay, write it down, go to sleep, wake up the next morning and get on it. But I do believe to a certain extent that I'm just creating a vision for your life. I do believe in that, of doing that year, right? So even like writing out, hey, who do I want to be at the end of this year? And I always break this down at the end of December. I'll say, okay, what do I want my finances to look like? What do I want my career to look like? How do I want to have helped people this year? What do my relationships look like? What am I doing for fun? How do I intend on traveling? How many countries have I been to? And I think that when I write out that vision, I continuously reference that same vision because I know that the Tyler who wrote that vision at the beginning of the year, that was the excited Tyler. That was the rested Tyler. That was the best Tyler. That was me at my highest self. Because as the year goes on and things happen, you get tired, you get weary, you get exhausted. You really get exhausted from the year. Things happen, things change. But if you're able to reference what your highest self was thinking, then I think that's a great tool and a great opportunity to refocus and get back on track with things. So yeah, long-winded, but yeah.
You know what? Sorry to interrupt you, Terrell. I was gonna highlight two things that you said there, Tyler. So the one where like every day you wake up and you're a new version of yourself. I think that's like such a good attitude to have because this is something I've been thinking about recently, is that like we kind of live in the images of our former selves, right? Like sometimes we try to be the person that we think everyone knows us as, and that kind of hinders growth. So, having that attitude, I feel like just it lets you explore, it lets you learn new things about yourself.
Be free. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then and second, when you're talking about visions, like where you want to be at the end of the year, do you make like anything called like a vision board, like where you have like a physical like a physical board literally where you would just like kind of see pictures of what you want to achieve? I talked to a professor that told me that it's really helpful, but I haven't tried it, so I was wondering if you did.
Yeah. No. So I have a lot of friends who have done that. I've never done that. I more so like to just write a letter to myself. Like that's the way I do it. But no, I have heard about people who make vision boards, and I even thought about making one in Canva. I just haven't gotten around to it. Yeah. But I definitely think that it's a good aid. And I mean, the people, you'll always see these YouTube videos or even like your friends, and they'll say like, yeah, I made a vision board 5 years ago. And I look at the vision board and everything that I wanted, I have now, so the power of manifestation and things like that. And I'm sure Terrell can go into a little bit deeper with that type of stuff. But But no, bro, do a vision board for sure. Why not? Have as many positive or reinforcing images, thoughts, actions around you so that you can become the person you want to become. Why not?
Dude, I love that
Yeah.
idea of writing a letter to yourself. I'm sorry, Sarah. That was the last
No,
time.
you're good. No, you're good.
Hey,
You're good.
bro,
You're
telling
good,
you.
man. Hey,
But
look,
yeah, I'm definitely gonna
good
write a
combo.
letter to
Good
myself.
combo.
Yeah.
For sure, bro. It's solid. And it makes you feel good at the end of the year. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you have to keep revisiting it though, too. That's the thing. Like I read that's like my end of the month like recap. I'll always read that. I'll randomly read it when I'm feeling lost. Because another thing within dentistry, Terrell can tell you this as well. Every day is so different. You're just like so much is thrown at you, so many new things, so much information. It's so easy just to kind of get lost and, obviously not take care of yourself like I wasn't last year, or you start working on so many different projects that nothing gets done. You writing this letter to yourself really helps you focus back in focus back in on what matters. Even family time, like literally, you can really sit back and like, how much time do I want to spend with my parents? How much time do I want to spend with my sister? How much time do I want to spend on the phone with my friends? Or how often do I want to see my friends? Like, I think it's just very, very important to have that reference just to stay grounded.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt, man. I think, and similar to what Nick was saying, like just going back to what you spoke about or highlighted about vision. Like a vision is more important than a resolution, so to speak. Like a resolution, it kind of gives you an end goal, and it's always good to have end goals, but it almost sets you up for failure. You know what I mean? Like, of course, if you have a test, something like that, you have a certain mark you want to reach, and even if you don't hit the mark, you will consider it a failure, but you still might do better than a lot of other people around you as long as you don't try to compete or you're trying to get into this mindset where you have to, you're kind of obligated to do certain things. So as long as you're pushing towards a vision, I think it's important to not only do like a year resolution, New Year's resolution or something you're trying to pick up, but even just long-term mapping. So like 1 year vision, 3 year vision, 5 year vision to revisit that, like Tyler said, writing that letter to yourself so you can know the mindset that you were in that moment and that motivation that you had in that space, because that space and that initial motivation is what's going to push you to start. Like, don't get me wrong, that push to start is unmatched. It's something about having that energy and having that drive to do it, but also you have to think about longevity and determination as well as discipline and being able to put in like the systems or like the overarching goal of the person that you want to be more so than the thing you want to accomplish. Like things are okay. You can say, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds. And when you lose that 10, you might end up putting back on 15 if you don't have the vision of being 10 pounds lighter for, the rest of your life or for an extended period of time or different things like that, or building the vision of, okay, it's not even about the weight. It's about, I'm just going to be a more active gym going person, just live a healthier lifestyle. And through that, I'll lose 10 pounds. So just being smart about how you're sequencing your goals, the things you actually have to do to make sure that these goals happen right in the first place. And then also to sustain these things. I think that's very important. And I mean, just speaking to that, like Tyler says, he writes a letter to himself. What I've been doing a lot more, and I even started this later last year, was really like sitting down and making sure I journal like at least 5 times a week, and I think that's just a more microscopic version of like, writing that letter. Writing a letter is more so, okay, I'm focusing like a year out, a month out, I guess you could write a letter to yourself a week out or a day out, but at the same time, it's more so just kind of documenting how you felt about things, like putting more into the emotion of things. You don't want to write you don't have to write a long-winded letter or anything like that, but being able to really document hands-on and be able to even jot quick notes about how you felt in those moments. So you can always reference back, or like little ideas that may slip through the cracks when you're thinking about a big overall goal. Those little minuscule wins that you have will actually drive you to keep going instead of, maybe not reaching a goal and it's being a month and you're looking back at something, you're like, dang, I didn't really get to where I wanted to be after a month. But if you did 5 things this week because you've been journaling about it, like, oh, I did this one thing, you're like, okay, well, at least I know I can see the progress that I'm making. That progress is like invaluable almost. I think it's almost overlooked too much. So I think that's one thing that I think has been shifting more so instead of doing
Are you writing
resolutions
it?
or short-term goals.
Are you doing like day one? Are you using an app, or are you writing it down on like a?
No,
Are you
tangible.
journaling? Okay.
I got a moleskin. So I bought a moleskin And I literally just like, I have it set up right next, like right on the little desk. So like literally at the end of every day, I just write down little things of like interactions throughout the day. What went well, what didn't go well, like what shifted your moods, what were positive wins for the day, like all those little things, even in dentistry, like, okay, had a bad day at work today, had a great day at work today. What were the things that help you make that a good day? Or what are the things that help you make that a bad day? And being able to go back at the end of the week or at the end of the month and like read, even if you just read 5, 6 journal entries, you don't have to read them all, but if you read a couple of them, you'll be like, okay, I see the sequence of how my month, I see these positives, I see these negatives, I see like how things have been shifting. And it just allows you to keep your perspective of that vision and keep your perspective of progress on that goal. And I think that's just a little bit more effective, at least for me, than having that. And of course, still doing the monthly or quarterly or, yearly overarching plans and goals and stuff like that. So, I think that's one thing I wanted to implement more as a resolution, and that's just being more present now. So you understand that the present decisions that you're making are actually what's going to sculpt the future, and that future end goal isn't just going to snap and come into play.
Boom. So I want to pick up real quick from that, Terrell. And that's another issue with goals, right? And Nick, you will see this. And we saw this. We have groups of friends throughout dental school, right? Some of our group of friends, or one of the group of friends, would literally say, the day I graduate, I'm going to be so happy. That was their goal. Their goal was to graduate, right? They didn't have, I don't want to say they didn't have the vision, but like they were more so on like, when I get to this point, I will have reached my goal and I will finally be happy. I will allow myself to be happy. That's the absolute wrong way to go about all of these goals, right? Because if you have a vision, you're able to live within that vision. You can enjoy every single day. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I think that makes the biggest difference, because what ends up happening, especially for like, think about dental school, for example. I'm sure the friends who that was their main goal, just to graduate. Think about it. We didn't even really have a real graduation. So Here they were. They had this feeling in their heart for 4 years. They're like, oh, I cannot wait until this day. I cannot wait until this day. I am delaying all happiness until this day. And that day didn't even come. And even if it did come, was that worth 4 years of you not enjoying yourself? No, it just doesn't make sense. So kind of what Terrell was saying, as far as like being in the present and really enjoying every single step. Of course, you're not going to love, you're not going to love studying for that medicine test, but you might love the study sessions that you had with your friends for that medicine test. And that's what you have to kind of really lean on in dental school. And I mean, and this is a situation where I will speak for my group of friends. We had a great time in dental school. Like, it was fun. Like,
a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And there's people who will tell you, oh, dental school was horrible. It was the worst 4 years. Oh, it sucked. No, like, I look back at dental school, I'm like, I miss my friends. I wish all my friends were in the city with me right now, because we had such a great time going through what a lot of other people would consider the worst time of their life. Nah, like, it just, we didn't move like that. And so I want everybody to be cognizant of that as well. Like, especially when you started your dental school journey, bro, really enjoy the process. And like, if you're around negative people during the process and they're bringing you down, bro, get away from them. Get around some positive people who enjoy themselves, who are happy with themselves. Like, bro, because that will literally, dental school is the beginning of your entire career. If you have a negative association with dental school, you are going to have a negative association with dentistry, most likely. You know what I'm saying? So, no, man, just try to stay as positive as possible. And, if your goal is to be a dentist, the day you step into dental school, hey, look, my name is Dr. Nick and I'm a dentist now. And I'm just doing training. I'm just doing extra training. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, play into that vision. Play into that vision and everything will be okay.
Yeah. So what's one goal that each of you have now within like the perspective of or lens of dentistry?
We said within dentistry?
Yeah, within dentistry.
Okay, perfect example, right? It was December 26th, right? And I'm talking about my vision, right? And I was like, you know what? What's my vision? Myself at the end of the year. I want to be doing implant cases, and I want to at least shadow a couple of full mouth reconstructive cases, right? Or reconstruction cases. And I was like, okay, let me do this. And I said, okay, I can't wait. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just do this. So at that same moment, I took my credit card out and I put a $12,500 course on my credit card at that exact moment because I knew this is where I wanted to be in the future. I said, I want to do FMR. These are the type cases I want to see. I want to be efficient at implants. Or in my letter, I said, I am efficient in implants, and I'm learning more every single day. And I said, okay, cool. I saw the vision. I was like, what am I waiting for? I can pay for this right now, or I'm going to pay for it a month later. Why not do it right now? Paid the money, made that investment. And my first course is in Miami in 2 weeks. I'm flying out there for 3 days. I'll be there. Then the next month, I will be in Dallas. Then in March, I'll be in Dallas again. And then I am shadowing a bunch of FMR cases in November. And in that gap time, I'm going to find somebody else to shadow. I'm going to go and watch an oral surgeon just to kind of see the lay of the land and see what's going on. Okay, why do this? Why are you doing this? Why is the patient, what are the contraindications for this type of surgery? What is blah, blah, blah? All these different things. I'm putting myself in play to get better. So, yeah.
I say, one thing about goals or just visions, like you hear so many myths about dentistry or whatever. You hear like these targets, right? So everybody talks about like the $1 million practice. All right. So in order to have $1 million practice, you have to produce a certain amount, right? So I think one of my goals or one of the things that I've been focusing on more so is just making sure I'm doing everything I can to make sure I can hit that target so that if I ever were to decide, hey, I want to have a private practice, I know I'm in a position where it's literally my decision to do so. And I wouldn't necessarily have to focus on the dentistry as much as being able to focus on the business aspect of it. So, just kind of, and that's just more so like a progression thing, like making sure I'm on task of hitting monthly goals, hitting quarterly goals, so I can hit a yearly goal so that at the end of the year, granted, I'm enjoying my job, where I'm at right now. But if I did want to push that button and go the way, I have the skill set, I have the ability to do so, and I know how to produce a certain number so that it wouldn't be an issue of a lot of those business aspects. It would be literally creating my vision of what I want my practice to look like, what I want my vision of who I want to work with, what I want my day-to-day to look like, and be able to know how to structure that so that's a viable product. It's like you never want to jump out there without having the information that you need to at least be in a position to succeed, right? So, anything can happen where you can succeed, you can make it or not. You got to be able to take that leap, but you also have to make an educated decision to do so. Like, you don't just want to, rush fresh out of school, go say, hey, I'm open for practice now. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know the ins and outs of the business aspect. You don't even know the ins and outs of dentistry yet, truly, to even understand the business aspect of dentistry, in terms of like insurances, different things like that. So, doing those things, making sure I'm focusing on like how insurances are run, making sure paying more attention to like how P&Ls are looked at, like all of these little things outside of the production as well, but more importantly, understanding the speed and the efficiency that's necessary in order to have that viable product so that, you don't get overwhelmed and you don't get overstressed by trying to handle and juggle so much at one time when you do decide to make that leap, that business leap. You don't want to have to be dealing with the clinical issues or the clinical aspects so much. And I think that's really like my main focus in terms of dentistry right now. Obviously, there's other things I want to do outside of dentistry in terms of like business stuff and, but like just building with my staff, learning how to manage relationships, learning how to manage the team a little bit more as well. But really focusing on like, I always said like 2 to 3 years after coming out of school, that's when I would start thinking about trying on the practice or think about if it was something that I really want to dive into or do. So why wouldn't I be doing the work to be able to, make a really good decision about if it's something that I want to do and not something that I feel like I have to because of trying to pay back loans or feels like something that, I want to do because everyone else is doing it or because I've seen somebody else do it. Like have the things that you need to have buttoned up so that you have the freedom to decide exactly what you want instead of what you feel like you need, so.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. And those are like goals that fit within the bigger picture for you, which sounds like private practice at the end, like having your own clinic. So, I mean, I think both those goals, like you guys are on top of it. You guys are being
Hold on,
active.
hold on, real quick before we get out of here, bro. What are your
Yeah,
goals?
he
Huh?
he trying to sneak
slide
out of there.
out.
You see?
Trying to get out of it. I tried.
Hey,
I tried.
No, man.
Nah.
So the thing is, I mean, I think the first thing is like pick what school I want to go to, and I have like less than a week. We'll probably see by the end of this weekend. But I mean, once that's decided, I'm pretty confident that I want to do oral surgery, and so I have 9 months until school starts. So I just want to be really like productive, be proactive, and just kind of start studying for the CBSC. Like that's what I did for the DAT. I studied a year before I even did the 10-week period. And that did everything for me. So like, I'm gonna try to do the same with the CBSC and get like ideally like 100 hours in before even dental school starts. I think that would be
Nice.
awesome. And then, depending on what school I go to, if they offer like an MBA program, I'm probably gonna start studying for like the GRE or GMAT. So I'm not so sure on that, but the CBSE for sure I do want to start studying for. Yeah.
Do you
That's my
do you
goal.
track your hours? I know
Yeah.
you said you okay, you have
So
like an app where you're tracking it? Yeah.
So no, I don't have an app. So for the DAT specifically, like when I was doing my DAT series, I didn't know how much info I really wanted to include, but like, I did more than just to be safe. So I just had an Excel sheet and I would put the date in and then just the amount of minutes I spent for each whatever section it was, like biology, chemistry, or whatever.
Okay.
So so that was the only time I really tracked my hours. Otherwise I usually don't. Like that was and that was more for the audience, not so much for myself. But but I found that it really worked. So I'm gonna try to do it this year too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hey man, well, we're here to support you, man. It's gonna I already see it though. I already see it. You're gonna be fine, man.
Thank you.
You'll be good.
Yeah, you guys are the best. You guys helped me so much for these like past 3 years, I think. Past three and a half.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's been so long.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. Like I remember when I first joined, like the idea of getting into dental school was like the craziest thing for me. It didn't feel possible at the time. But like now that it's done. It's literally done.
It's done.
So I mean, thank you guys. I'm excited for the future too. We're gonna do some amazing things.
Hey man, it's gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a great year for sure. But thank everybody for watching our podcast. Yeah. Our video podcast.
First one of the year. Hey.
Hey. But no, everybody, we are going to be dropping these every single week. We are going to be putting them, of course, on YouTube, but also on streaming services. We're just working out the kinks right now, so I'll definitely be on the lookout for that as well.
Awesome, y'all. Okay. Well, Tyler, Nick, Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year.
Till next time.
Till next time, y'all. Peace.